Welcome back to English B language class. We are in the midst of discussing the part of speech, verb and its main kinds. We have discussed in brief the transitive verb and its functions in the previous class. Today we shall discuss the intransitive verb. As always, here are a few points for you to note. Recalling the previous lesson, explaining the intransitive verb with examples, a mock classroom and the conclusion. In the previous class, we have learned that verb plays a very important part in a sentence. It is the key part of it. A verb expresses what the subject does, what the subject is, what the subject possesses, what happens to the subject, or what is done to the subject. Verbs can be divided into two main categories. One is the transitive verb and the other is the intransitive verb. In case of a transitive verb, action passes on to something or someone. The answer to this something or someone is known as the object of the verb. We have discussed the transitive verb in brief. A very elaborate discussion will be done in the next higher classes. Now we are going to check up the intransitive verb. Peter, do you remember yesterday's discussion? Very well, sir. You were explaining to us the ins and outs of the transitive verb with examples. Is there any question on the previous lesson? Yes, sir. I have a question. Sir, are there only two kinds of verbs as you said in our previous class? I told you verbs can be divided into two main categories. One is the transitive verb and the other is the intransitive verb. We thought of confining our discussion within this. Since you have raised the question, let me tell you there are ways of dividing verbs into categories, namely transitive verb, intransitive verb, finite verb, non-finite verb, auxiliary verb, principal verb, state verb, event verb, linking verb, phrasal verb, etc. Verbs can be divided into these 10 categories. Some of them can be further subdivided into several other kinds, but we will discuss them in your next higher classes. Okay? Now see the screen attentively. Here is a set of sentences to describe David's morning routine. David wakes up early. Sometimes he gets up even before sunrise. Wind blows and he moves towards the nearby orchard. Birds fly out of their nests to collect food for the birdies. But today David is lying in bed late. Why? Just now you have seen a set of sentences about the boy David's morning routine. What similarities or differences do you find here with yesterday's topic? Yes, Aniket, will you tell me? Say, the action does not pass on to the object. The meaning without the object is clear here. The verb that needs no other person or thing to complete the meaning is the intransitive verb. The sentence, David wakes up early, is complete by itself. The action, wakes up, needs no object to complete the meaning. The verb here answers when and not what or whom. Am I correct, sir? Very correct you are. So, you can see other verbs in the paragraph like gets up, blows, fly and is lying are intransitive verbs. Is that all clear? Yes, sir. See the screen. Last week, the whole family, went for a picnic. The night before the picnic, we slept well because the next day there would be no scope of sleeping throughout the day. We stayed in the picnic spot for 8 long hours. We sang and danced. We talked and laughed. After lunch, we walked a short distance. Mother and grandmother were lying on the mats spread under a tree. Soon evening descended and we returned home. We enjoyed a lot. Novin, determine the kinds of verbs in the set of sentences in the paragraph. Sir, I have asked the verbs with what and whom. These questions do not fit here. The verbs here answer how, not what or whom. Surely, these verbs are used intransitively. You are right. All the verbs used here are intransitive verbs. The answer to how in these sentences that help to complete the sentences are adverbs. Let me introduce to you one more thing here, linking verbs. See the screen attentively. Willie is a businessman. He is worried with the old investment. He seems upset about the loss. His future plan sounds rather promising. He looks happy now. See, they are a set of intransitive verbs, aren't they? Yes, sir. But why are these verbs called linking verbs? They are called so because they help to link the subject of the sentence with the complement. When we say Willie is the sentence complete? No, sir. The sentence is not complete. If the set of words a businessman is added, the sentence gets a meaning. Right. The set of words that has helped in completing the sentence is called complement. And since it is used to help the subject it is called the subject complement. Any doubt here? Sir, could you give some more examples of linking verbs? Sir, one more thing. Sir, do you mean to say all intransitive verbs are also called linking verbs? No, I don't mean it. Let us visit a language class. The interaction of the teacher-student in the topic will further clarify the subject. Hear the teacher's voice. Dear students, we have been discussing verbs for a pretty long time. Have you understood the verb part where we were referring to linking verbs? You, Sheila? Partly, sir, because the topic appears somewhat complicated to me. Could you please explain it a little more elaborately? Okay, remember, the linking verb is the special part of the sentence that relates the subject to information about the subject, never describing any action. Sir, you are telling that a linking verb relates the subject to the information. What is the verb that describes action done by the subject called? That is called an action verb. Sir, please tell us the idea of separating an action verb from a linking verb. I am really confused. It is very easy. Substitute the word is for the verb in question. If it is a linking verb, the sentence will retain its meaning. See the sentence. Joy appears unhurt in the accident. Now substitute the be verb is for the word appears. The sentence reads, Joy is unhurt in the accident. Okay? Does the sentence make any sense? Shyam? Yes, sir, it makes. So, is the verb appears an action verb or a linking verb? It is surely a linking verb because it has retained its meaning. Now I have got it, sir. Study this sentence, Pratik. Every day, when we are about to close the store, Joy appears to buy something. Is the verb appears a linking verb or an action verb? Sir, this is an action verb because the verb cannot be replaced with the be verb. You are right. There are certain verbs that are used as linking verbs as well as action verbs. Confusion may arise in that case. Study them well and soon you will be master in determining a linking verb or an action verb. Okay? We have visited the language class. Now we understand clearly what a linking verb is and how it differs from an action verb. Okay? Okay, sir. This much is for today. We will discuss in detail these topics in our next language class.